Good evening, everyone. It's nice to see you all in another episode of our webinar series. Today is the one special event that we're going to discuss is that IELTS. So many questions about how to do it, so many questions about why we should do it, and there's so many questions about where to do it. So today we have an expert who will be talking to us on IELTS, and he's the Account Relationship and Business Development Manager for British Council IELTS, and Shafiq, warmly welcoming you for today's event, and over to you, sir, to start the proceedings.
Thank you, Pragit, and good afternoon to all, and thank you, Pragit, for arranging this. So without taking much time, let's look at what IELTS is. Later, we'll look at why do you need to choose British Council to do your IELTS. So to kind of understand what IELTS is, first thing you need to understand is that it is a test of your ability to communicate in English. Please do remember this particular sentence. I will be kind of reminding you about this at a later stage during the presentation. So this is a test that kind of test your ability to communicate in English, especially for study or work in English, and also it tests all for language skills, as you know, listening, reading, writing, and speaking is tested in IELTS. And also it's a test of full range of proficiency levels, from non-user to expert user level, and it is reported with an overall band score, giving a band score for each skill plus overall band score given in a test report format to you. And then another thing is it's a test of international English. This is widely accepted across the globe, and there's no minimal bias for cultural and linguistic ability. And then the content is produced and checked internationally. That is why this test is accepted globally. And during the test, or especially in the listening part, variety of accents used, which are common across the world. And you all know there are two modules in IELTS. One is academic, and the other module is general training. Academic module is mainly taken by test takers who are going for their higher studies in universities, colleges, and in some cases professionals for their professional registrations with organizations, and also in recruitment. In this module, the test assesses the ability to study or train at an undergraduate or postgraduate level. Basically, this is in an academic setup. In general training module, it is mainly targeted for people who are migrating or going abroad for vocational or secondary education, and also in common cases like the teacher training and then recruitment for teachers, they go for general training, and also certain jobs they look for general training like nurses, and then also airline industry, they look for general training module. And it assesses survival skills in a broad social and educational context. This is the difference between academic and general. Academic is more towards entirely academic, with an entirely academic focus, but in general training, it has both, mixture of both. Moving on, so this is the band score, band scale. You can see from 0 to 9. In between, there's 0.5 scale also. So the 9 is the expert user, and at the bottom 0 is it's a non-user level. So in between you have different levels and the descriptions, like on an average we here many organizations look for band 7, which is good user. And this is the IELTS test report form, or the result sheet in hours. This is a sample. So when you register for the test, you can request for up to 5 TRFs at the time of registration, or up to 2 years after taking the test. This is a latest option introduced, and we send this to receiving organizations free of charge when you request at the time of registering. Otherwise, you get one personal copy of TRF. And as I said earlier, we'll look at why IELTS is accepted worldwide and why it is the most popular test for education and immigration. So you can see in this map, certain areas are not in red, but other areas, majority of the world map is covered in red. This is where IELTS is available. So you can see how popular IELTS is, and it is offered in over 1,100 locations in over 140 countries. In US and Canada, we have more than 3,000 institutions accepting IELTS. So when it comes to IELTS testing, until 2017, we had only paper-based IELTS. But now we have both paper-based and computer-delivered IELTS, so that you have more options and more choices. IELTS paper-based and computer-delivered has no kind of difference in terms of structure. We will get into the structure of the test in a slide, in the coming slides. If you look at the test structure for both PB and computer delivered, it is the same. The only difference is in paper-based, you're writing on a paper as opposed to typing in a computer in computer delivered. So if you think you have bad handwriting, you want more clear answers to be written, I think then computer delivered IELTS is the choice for you. And also we have frequent sessions than paper-based IELTS sessions for computer delivered testing. So looking at the recognition again, 10,000 organizations globally accept IELTS, 3,000 in USA, and IELTS test is widely accepted by universities, not only universities, also by board agencies in UK, Australia, USA, New Zealand, Switzerland, Canada, and many other countries. When it comes to frequency of testing, paper-based, over 40 test dates per year, basically between 3 to 4 test sessions a month in paper-based testing, and computer delivered multiple sessions. At the moment, we have almost every day we have a session in Colombo, so you can choose from any type of test any date. And for paper-based, results are released in 13 days. For computer delivered, you can get your results 3 to 5 days. In most cases, it's 3 days. So this is, I think, a big question. I think even Pragit had some concerns on this. So
I would say
that's
that is
why.
the most asked question at the moment.
Yes, I think it's more than it's a test more difficult at British Council. I think it's IELTS difficult. Am I correct, Pragit?
The question number one would be, is it required to do IELTS? It's very hard.
Okay.
So do I have to do it at British Council? We see a lot of foreigners are doing at British Council. So those are the questions normally we get.
Yes. Okay. We'll go through the slides so that I hope I can reasonably give clarifications on that.
Yeah.
So I would say no. The test is exactly the same, no matter where you take it. So IELTS is a globally standard test. No matter where you're going to take the test, whether it's in Sri Lanka or India or in UK or Saudi Arabia or in US, the test format is going to be same. Procedures are going to be same. Recruitment of staff, we will talk about it in the slides. Yeah. So it's a standard format. It's a standardized test monitored by University of Cambridge English Language Assessment. So if you look at Sri Lanka, the same paper is given all over the country on a given day. Wherever you do the test, it's going to be the same. And then same recruitment and training procedures for IELTS staff everywhere. It's a global standard, whether it's for examiners or venue staff, it's a standard approach. Same pre-test, test day, and post-test. For pre-results and post-results, security standard maintained across the world. So whether you do the test here or in a different country, every single test center will go through the same process. Did I kind of clarify your concerns, Pragit?
Yes, you did actually. Because one thing the audience should know is that it's an international body and it is international standard. So everything will be kept in one particular level.
Yeah. So this is something very important. I think this is the key thing we should kind of focus and highlight. And because of this section, I think most of the test takers complain that the test is difficult. Going back to the first slide, I said to remember that it's a test of your communicative ability. Your language skill testing is done. So you need to have certain level of knowledge and preparation mainly to face this test. So I would say preparation is essential for IELTS, and if you have prepared well for your test, you will be more confident to face the test. So this is where most of the test takers go wrong, and they think it's another test and they don't prepare enough to take the test. So at British Council, we have many value-added services mainly offered to test takers to prepare well enough before they take the test. So let's look at what we have for test takers as value-added services. So one thing is free online preparation course. This is a 30-hour online preparation course, and it covers all 4 areas: listening, reading, writing, and speaking, which is again tested in your IELTS test. Once your registration is confirmed with the British Council, you get access to this course from the test taker portal. When you register with British Council, you will be given access to the test taker portal where you can go and search for your value-added services and start using it. So this is how this again links to this online preparation course. The platform is Road to IELTS, and I would say this is one of the best online learning platforms available for IELTS test takers at the moment. So you will be given access to reading, listening, speaking, and writing. You can practice each skill separately, and also it will give you an indication of your progress in line with other users of this portal. So it kind of gives you an indication which area you are good in, or which areas that you need to focus more. It's 30 hours, so what is important here is to register in advance and start making use of this to get through your exam. And then the free practice workbook is given. At the moment, we are not giving the hard copies, but we will be emailing this book, a PDF version of the book, to each and every registered test taker, where they can download and use it. Top tip seminars. Again, this is another 2-hour session done by an examiner or IELTS expert. We should call them IELTS experts. So this 2-hour session, usually we have it face to face, but due to the current situation, we are having it online. So people can join from wherever they are. Then this will help you to understand what is required from your end during the test. How do you kind of focus on studying? So that the expert guidance is given from a examiner's perspective. So it is very important for a test taker. It's not a qualification; it's a language proficiency test. So your aim is to get through the test. So you should know what are the techniques and what you should focus more on. So things like that. I think this is a very valuable service. Again, we have writing skills workshop. We had earlier we had face-to-face sessions, but now we have moved to online. You need prior booking. So every registered candidate will have the option to register for all these value-added services. Again, full time is taken to explain about writing task 1 and 2, and what you should focus depending on your band score. That kind of information is given in this session. Moving on, this is the current registration center network. When you want to register, you can either directly register with us, or you can reach out to any of our partner centers, registration centers. We have appointed across the country. You can see in the map, we have covered almost all the districts in the country. Pragit, you can talk about the registration facilities. You can register through Pragit also. So he will be a facilitator for registration. So you can contact them for registration as well. And then this is the IELTS, your journey from registration to results. You need to first book your test online or at any of our registration centers, and then prepare for your test. I would say, you need to start preparation a bit early, and then take your test at one of our official test centers. We have test centers in Jaffna, Batiklo, Chandi, Kurunagala, Nigambu, Kalambu, Matra, and God. So you can take the test from any of these locations and also in Maldives. So you can register through one of our registration centers or directly with us and go through this process and get your results in 3 days, 3 to 5 days in case if it is CDIS, if not in 13 days to paper-based IELTS. So I think that brings us to the end of the presentation. If you have any questions, I'm happy to respond.
So if you have any questions, you can ask from Shafiq, and meanwhile you type. Shafiq, there are a few questions that came while you were doing your presentation. One is that now you're speaking about the computer-based exam. So a student who do the computer-based exam, is that mean that all 4 areas will be conducted on computer online?
No, it's like this. Reading, writing, listening. Let me take you back to this slide. Test structure. Oh, sorry. I don't know why. Okay, sorry about it. I was wondering that test structure slide is there. So it's like this. Now, reading, writing, listening will happen one after another. It will take about 3 hours. If you take paper based, it will be pen and paper, and if it is on a computer, computer based, it will be a computer delivered mechanism. But for speaking, it will be face to face, which will happen on the same day of reading, writing, listening, or different day of the same day. Right? So we have 2 mechanisms for speaking. One is face-to-face speaking. The other one is video conference speaking, where one-to-one interaction with an examiner will happen through a similar kind of setup, like Zoom or Skype thing. So it's you are not talking to a computer. You are talking to a physical examiner, whether it is face-to-face or through VCs.
Right, Shafiq. So one more questions that we got recently is that can I do one test on a one day, then can I take a bit of time and can I do the next test? Is there a possibility like that? Or do you have to complete on a given period of time?
What do you mean?
If I rephrase it, Shafiq, no, I will do my writing today. Then I want to take a 2 weeks break. Then I want to do my listening later. I go like that, rather than you give me a time frame. I will say, no, I will do the first one today. I'll study again and I'll come back and I'll do the next one. Is there a possibility like that?
That's not possible, Pragit. It's like this, as I said earlier, reading, writing, listening will happen on the same day continuously. Right? Within 3 hours, all 3 skills will be done.
So people
speaking will happen separately.
Okay. So anyone who have that question, can I opt in and do bit by bit? Yes, no options like that. You have to do it at once. So the other question, Shafiq, is that what's the duration of the validity of the certificate?
Right. The duration of this certificate is, or the validity period of the certificate is 2 years. But certain universities in Australia, they accept it for 3 years. Otherwise, standard procedure is it's 2 years.
Okay. So another question that we normally get is that, okay, I want to study overseas. Then you have to do academic on IELTS, but I have a score of 7 on general. Can I use that for academic? If you can add on something on that?
Yes, Pragit, I mean, it's a good question, but unfortunately, we can't decide on that. It is completely up to the accepting organization uh, to decide on that. You know, we don't have a say on that. It's
Right.
completely up to them,
Right. So,
receiving
so
organization.
right. So in terms of that, Shafiq, a student might have a question. Okay, what's the difference? Is it academic is a bit harder than the general, or how does it work when it's come to the exam wise?
Uh, General perception is academic is no general is difficult, but I don't see such thing. It's two different contexts. As I said earlier in this slide, sorry, this slide, it's if you look at academic, it assesses ability to study or train at undergraduate or postgraduate level. So the context of testing is totally academic, and here in general, it's survival skills and broad social and educational context. That is why I said it's a bit of it's a mixture of both.
Okay.
You need social context plus the survival skills, and then bit of educational context.
Um,
The difference is in speaking and also in writing.
Okay, Shafiq. So we have few questions coming in. One is that, can I get the record version, please? Yes. This will be on FB Live, and we'll be uploading another set of videos for YouTube, so you can get the content from there. And so is there any changes for the paper structure? I think after COVID, is there any changes apart from being computer-based on the paper structure?
No, the structure which we had pre-COVID is the same. I don't think there is a change coming soon. If it is coming soon, there'll be notification, but I don't see anything coming like that.
So another question we have, Shafiq, is that sometimes we have seen with our student as well. You have already applied for the university, and they are doing the IELTS exam. So sometimes they may not get the required number, the total they have to get the bandwidth. So
Yeah.
in a situation like that, how many times they can repeat the exam?
There's no limitation in the number of times you can take the test. You can register and take the test as many times as you want. But I think the preparation is key. You need to have a focus on your band score, and you need to prepare well enough to take the test. So whatever the value-added services we provide is to help you to get through your exam. So make use of that and try to get through your exam in one sitting.
So I will be asking one question, Shafiq. I know you have already answered, but I know for the benefit of the audience, I would be asking it again. So if I come to British Council to do my IELTS exam, and if I have to do my speaking, will I be getting a foreigner to do it, or will it be a local person who have the standard evaluation process anyway?
Yes, if you take British Council Sri Lanka, we have a mixture of both foreigners as well as locals as examiners, where all have gone through the standard recruitment process. Whether it's a foreigner or a local, the standards are same for testing. The marking remains same, irrespective of the examiner.
Okay. So I think a lot of people would be quite relieved after hearing that part.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I think that's a common, what do you say? I would say a myth that you get a foreigner and you can't understand, and he can't understand what you're saying. So I don't think it's true, because In speaking, in general, there's no special accent used. So it's just plain English. Anybody can understand, and if you kind of face or if you talk clear, that's enough for the examiner to understand whether you are responding the right way.
Yeah. So it's not a hard thing. It's all about you're going to talk to a person like you normally do, and that's
Yes.
about it actually.
Yeah.
So Shafiq, going on with another question is that what's the duration they normally take to release the results after doing
For
the exam?
paper-based IELTS, results are released on the 13th day after the test. Right? Say, let's say if you take the test on let's say 1st of April, for we'll assume that we had a session on the 1st of April, the results will be released on 13th of April. So it's exactly 13 days from the day you take the test. And it's a standard.
Okay, so even due to COVID, there has not been any changes in the result, delay in results, right?
No, it's not impacted.
Okay. And the final question I think for today is that if I want to change my exam date after I register for the exam, what is the process?
Yes, on British Council Sri Lanka website, we have published our transfer and refund policy. So anyone want to transfer or get a refund, you can go through the transfer and refund policy. There is an application to be filled in case of transfer or refunds, and they need to provide certain document evidence, and there is a payment for it. Admin fee is applicable. Currently, it's 5,500. So they have to either make the payment, or if it, in case of refund, they can ask us to deduct it from the test fee already paid, and then they have to submit it to our customer service team so that they will attend to it. It's possible.
Okay, so that's about it for today, and we'd like to thank Shafiq for joining today, and also we have another person who's being behind us, is Krishanti, for joining to help us on this webinar. I believe a lot of people got the information they required, and I hope you understand one thing is it's not a hard exam. The other thing is that it's not going to be where you're going to be. Make sure that you go for a reputed place and get it done, and the British Council will be the best place because of the library and the facilities they have, and they have the proper staff and people who to assist you all. So Shafiq, thanks a lot for joining us today, and Krishanti for that. Krishanti as well. And so guys, we'll see you again. Yes. So we'll see you again with another episode of our webinars, and hope to see you all soon. Thanks everyone. See you.